After 20 years of playing guitar, I'm only starting to feel like I truly unlocked the fretboard. I feel like I've tried everything, and I've made mistakes along the way that kept me hard stuck for over a decade. Luckily for you, you don't have to make them because you'll learn from my pain. Let's go. The first mistake I made was trying to memorize every note on the fretboard. I was still in high school back then, so I'd go one string at a time, right? E, F, G, A, B, C, D, another E. Basically all the white keys on the piano, aka the C major. But I got frustrated because I don't learn this way, right? And this is the opposite of fun. This is not why I picked up the guitar in the first place. But let's say I did commit all that to memory. What can I play? Can I improvise the lead in F sharp minor? No, because I only know the notes of C major. Now, do I have to memorize everything? Every 12 major keys? Every 12 minor keys? Harmonic, melodic, minor? All that crap? All 7 modes? Bro. But when I started practicing scales, that was a huge light bulb moment for me, right? Because in guitar, unlike piano, every pattern stays the same in every key. So if I'm playing A minor, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 my octave. This is 1, this is 3, this is my minor third. What if I'm playing G minor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the same thing. Here's my 1, there's my 3. I got the same minor third. And because I already knew my barred chords, right? I knew my 5th and 6th string roots. So whatever the key I wanted to play in, all I had to do was find a root and then shred away. There was my scale. I didn't need to learn every notes by heart, only the roots. And then the pattern would do the rest. Now, of course, after 26 years of playing, when I play, let's say, A minor, I know what I'm playing, right? C, B, G, E, F, other B, C, A, right? It's A minor. A lot of songs are in A minor. So you kind of pick that up over time. Well, let's play something less obvious, like B flat minor. I still know what I'm playing. I mean, this is a 5, this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 1, another 2 here, another 5, a 4, 2, 3, 1, right? The numbers stay the same. And this is what led me to my next mistakes, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're not just numbers. I became obsessed with scales, right? So between 18 to 21, I would spend most of my time just shredding scales, right? Up and down the neck. My buddies were impressed by my chops, and I thought I was a guitar hero. When I played by myself, it sounded great. But then I started playing more with others, and I came face to face with the fact that my leads kind of sucked. My playing did not complement the music at all. I had no ideas how to play through the changes because I had no concept of chord tones. Behold, every boring guitar teacher's favorite, the cage system. Why boring? Well, I'm a metalhead, right? So therefore I think I'm better than everyone. Also that I have to be an outcast and must do everything differently. Plus, I mean, this is baby guitar player stuff, right? I mean, it's hard to go back so basic when you've already been shredding for 7 or 8 years. The truth is I should have learned this way sooner. I mean, the cage system is the simplest method I know to unlock the fretboard. I mean, it's not perfect, despite what I've seen in other videos, right? All you need to play those amazing guitar solos is the cage system. I don't know what you're playing, dude, but it's not Steve Vai, right? This method leaves huge gaps between the notes, but it is the best way to start learning your chord tones all over the fretboards, and you need those. Now this changed so much for me because now I could play my scales, but around the chords that were being played. Copilot, give me 4 chords that are not in the same scales but would sound good together. All right, so I got C, G minor, A, and E minor. That should do. So I'm not gonna think about a scale where I could fit all of these together. I'm gonna play by ear around the notes of the cage system, right? So for the C, I'm gonna play around this A-shaped C. For the G minor, I'm gonna play around this C minor shape. For the A, I'm gonna play around this E shape. And finally the E, this A shape, this A minor shape chord, right? Let's go. That was just basic cage system shapes blended with some scale patterns, and I got through without thinking about what notes or what scale I'm playing. Next, this is a big one, but most people will dismiss it, and most people will fail because of it. I was very impatient with my learning. If I didn't see instant result, I would give that up so fast. And trust me, there's nothing worse than giving up and losing that learning momentum. If you're old enough to care about investment, think of it as compound interest. If you're not, think of the snowball effect, right? Everything I learned slowly adds up, right? You know, you practice some triad and arpeggios, then some legato. Blend that with some exotic scale. And you know, all of a sudden you're playing and you know, when I'm improvising something that I think I've never played before, you know, this is something new, it's one of the best feelings ever. Well into my 20s, I realized that I had been shying away from learning real theory because I somehow thought that it would blunt my creativity and turn me into a stiff, academic, regular, generic player. The reality is, most unschooled or self-taught players, myself included, all sound the same. You know, we all play the same pentatonic lick. Position 1, then position 5, then position 4, then come back on 1, play this triad like I'm paid to. I started to take a closer look at these chords that I knew, right? At A minor 7. I knew about the notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? What do 7 chords want to do? They want to resolve, right? Now, I learned that from the circle of fifths. It's not just a pretty circle with a bunch of chords on it. I also learned modes, how they differed from regular minor and major, and their different vibes. And I started to get really critical about my licks, right? Let's say somebody played A. Tabarnak. Instantly I go to that boring ass lick that I've been playing for years, right? I'm bending to the root, the A, then boring blues lick, and I'm ending on another root. It's not very exciting. What could be spicier? A 7? Right? Now, that's tension. The 7 wants to do what? Resolve to 1? Yeah, but let's wait a bit, right? Ooh, a 4? The 4 is less dissonant, but it still wants to resolve somewhere, right? What am I doing here? I'm bending from the sharp 6, which I've stolen from the Dorian mode, back to 5, before going to 4. Then I'm borrowing or stealing the major 3rd, which is from the Mixolydian mode. And I'm finally going back to that root. Now, that's 100 times more exciting. The number one thing we all do when we practice alone, noodling. Just playing these same old ass basic lick we've been playing for years, making sure that we stay within our comfort zone, right? Now this built up a very strong false sense of confidence in my playing. I was great at training the E minor scale, but to be musical we have to practice playing music. Duh, right? No, I know. But for lead guitar players, this is not always that obvious. At least it wasn't for me. All I wanted to do was to just learn licks and play them fast too, right? But nobody cares about the licks that we play. You know when I get the most compliment about my guitar playing? It's when I sing Audio Slave or Shinedown songs by the campfire. Only other dude that played guitar cared about my shredding chops. And I don't know why I did not realize that sooner, because it even shows up in the type of music that I prefer. That's why I have so many Satriani records, while I have nothing from Rusty Cooley. Satch makes me feel so many emotions because he focuses on melodies, singable melodies. And I got nothing against Rusty Cooley, right? He's got the chops of doom. His music doesn't make me feel anything. And that's also why my girlfriend, who doesn't even play any instrument, is at least as much a fan of Polyphia than I am. Because underneath all their fretboard wizardry and weird style, there are such unique and amazing melodies in those songs. I got better at this by playing over backing tracks. At first I was just shredding, but this is when I noticed that my stuff didn't sound that good. Sometimes I do this without a backing track, right? You know, just find the notes. But it's not the same because with a backing track, you hear the chords and the notes you're playing stacked to each other. As I stated before, I'm a metalhead. I was raised though on Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, so I do listen to other stuff. But growing up, I mostly cared about heavy metal. But there's so much more to learn from other genres, right? From jazz, I learned a lot of chord voicings. Playing the blues, I practiced my bends and my double stops. I learned a lot of arpeggios, playing classical. But also, all of these different vibes and chord progression that are sometimes more relevant in other types of music. But there's so much cool music that's been inspired by other genres, right? Tosin Abasi in Animal as leader, he took bass slapping with fingerstyle jazz and classical guitar to create perhaps the most unique heavy metal I've ever heard, at least. And Polyphia, I mean, they're blending hip-hop with shreds, with fingerstyle techniques and electronic type arpeggiators. And they've been moving the guitar forward more than anyone since Van Halen. Theory is great when you learn it in small, practical chunks, right? Look at the C cage system, right? Now let's add the A minor pentatonic scale. Now the second and sixth degrees to complete the A minor scale. You see how it all fits together? If you learn all of this in small chunks, it adds up so quickly. And you give yourself some credit, right? You can learn all of this. If you haven't learned the cage system, the scales, the triads, I mean, everything is free all over the internet. You should look it up. Or you can download my free PDF, The Essential Guitar Theory Hacks, down there in the description. I hope you got something new. Cheers.